There are a lot of things we do, a lot of things we believe without absolute certainty. And that's why, when I hear people say things like, well, why are you talking about the UFOs for when we've got stuff going on in the world that's far more important? I'm going, well, that stuff, is going on all the time anyway. And chances are, if it's important, we talked about it 3 weeks prior or a week prior. We have that ability on this show for some reason. We're the first edition. We're the first to tell you about something, and then when it happens, we're just as surprised as you are because we're hoping it never goes in the direction we tell you it's going. But there are a lot of things that indicate with human behavior and history that this is the way things are. And so you can count on things. Like I said, you can count on the sun rising because you've never had a chance to see a day where the sun's not rising. I mean, like I said earlier, you need. There's some people that say they need to have an absolute certainty to believe things about God or to believe the Bible. But the standard of proof for these questions is no different than it is for any other question in life. Sometimes we let the questions overwhelm us. Sometimes we see things and we go, well, if there is a God, why would he allow so many people to die and blah, 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 blah. That's not up for you to decide. The mysteries are what are worthy of talking about. Just becoming a cynic because you've just decided that, stuff happens to you and it's always happening to you and it's horrible. Yeah, we live in a world where people who want to do good get thwarted and those who are doing evil right now are just right in the places of power. We know this. But when you think about, let's think about a courtroom, for example. When jurors are sent out to reach a verdict, they don't have to be 100% certain that this person is guilty. I mean, they don't have to be 100% certain to give someone the death penalty. They don't even have to be 100% certain if, Alex Jones said anything about Sandy Hook or whatever, and he's getting another $45 million tacked onto what he's doing. See, that's the thing. It's an impossible standard here. That's why you're having the jury decide. It's like when people tell me, well, there's no such thing as UFOs. I says, well, have you ever been in a bank robbery? And they say, well, no. I says, well, how do you know they exist? Well, we see them on TV. I see UFOs on TV all the time. I see security cameras that pick up UFOs all the time. The only difference between a bank robbery and UFOs and Bigfoot sightings is we don't go to court over them. We don't have a court of law deciding if a person sees a UFO. We don't have a court of law telling people, oh, by the way, you said you saw the Loch Ness Monster? Let's have a court of law try and determine this. Doesn't happen. Jurors are asked to weigh the evidence and come to the best possible conclusion. When you're in when you look at criminal cases, the standard of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. So it's fair to ask, lacking absolute proof about anything, whether there's enough evidence about mysteries to make a belief reasonable, why is it so hard to comprehend the possibility that in an infinite universe, we have infinite possibilities, and some of them are just beyond explanation? Keep in mind that if you have a contrary assertion to belief, you have to meet a standard of proof as well. That's why I have a problem with people who say, well, I'm going to debunk that. Well, you know what? People who debunk are ass clowns. If you're a skeptic, that's one thing. A skeptic has an open mind and they try to say, well, what about this and what about that? It's kind of what a 14 is. But when you're a debunker, you say, I don't believe it. It's CGI. It's Photoshop. It's what you don't even know what you're talking about. You think you do, all right? People are always experts on Facebook, and it just bothers me. There's always this dilemma with any report of something that is bigger than legend, is that, how do you find the facts to back up the legend? Legends are based on realities. Legends are based on truths. Legends are great stories. I know this. That's why when I was at Roswell, I think I brought that up. I said, Roswell has gotten to the point, 75 years on, that it's not only become a story of proof, but now that all the people that witnessed what happened there have died, it's all turning into a legend. And anybody can come forward and say, well, I had a friend of mine or a cousin of mine that was at Roswell when it happened. Anybody can say that. Anybody can say that, even though they have no one that was anywhere near Roswell when the bodies arrived and the saucer was salvaged. No one was near there, but they'll tell you that they were. And this is why it's hard to cut through the legends when you're dealing with something that you want to prove. And the Loch Ness Monster is one of those very, very, very frustrating things, along with Bigfoot, because of the supernatural element that's always been involved. And that supernatural element, like I said, that element can be traced to not only Christian bishops, Catholic bishops, Irish Catholic bishops, Scottish bishops. It's traced back to Aleister Crowley, who was considered one of the most evil men on the planet. And so, and it's also, again, we go back to the idea that this could be a demon, okay? That it's a demon, that Aleister Crowley believed that he raised a demon, and that St. Columba, who was one of the first to see Loch Ness happen, he said that it was a demon that had a horse's head, a horse's headed demon that came out of the water and was eating farmers and their cattle. So you go all the way back to, just right at the beginning of time when these Christian saints were seeing these demons rising out of Loch Ness, eating people on the side of, I mean, I'm laughing because it's just creepy to think about. I mean, unless, he was looking to baptize souls, we're going to baptize you in the very loch that the demon is going to eat you. It doesn't make any sense, right? So anyway, 503-225-0860. That's 503-225-0860. I think we have Isaac calling in from Connecticut. We go to Isaac right now. Hey, Isaac, you're on Ground Zero. Okay, something happened here, so we're going to put that on hold for a minute. All right, let's try that again. Isaac, hi, you're on Ground Zero. Go ahead.
How you doing, Clyde?
Good.
The reason I'm not so concerned with UFOs, unidentified flying objects, is because, well, as soon as you produce an IFO, an identified flying object,
mm-hmm.
and you identify it as an alien craft,
right?
Then you've got my attention. But otherwise, you're telling it could be anything. I mean,
well, that's why it's unidentified. If you identify it as a spaceship, then when people tell me, "Oh, I saw a UFO," and I go, "Well, unidentified flying object," so you didn't know what it was. They say, "Well, I thought it was a spaceship." Then you identify it as a spaceship. You identify it as an alien vessel, if you think, but you don't even know if it's alien or not. That's the whole point. And my approach to this is a Fortean approach, meaning that if you're dealing with something in the sky, it could be a living thing. It could be something from another planet. It could be something anomalous that we don't even understand yet. You see, and so when you see something like that, immediately people say aliens. Why? Because the pop culture has bred that into us. But it could be something that we don't even. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the movie Nope yet. But that's exactly what the movie Nope's about. Nope is a UFO movie, but I'm not going to give anything away because in the end you realize that maybe it's something else. Maybe we're dealing with something else that we don't even understand. And so to say it's a demon or to say it's something else, you don't know what it is. It's just like the Loch Ness Monster. What is it? Is it a plesiosaur?